Hey everybody, welcome to the video today. I'm going to be doing on a potential market rug pull in the coming days. We've been watching things for a while, and I think we're getting close to where we're going to be finding a bit of a more serious pullback. I think what we've seen today is just minor compared to what is potentially coming. As you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So I'd like to start by taking a look at the S&P 500. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to dive here into the charts. We're going to be talking about where I think things are going to be going and what I'm watching for a big warning sign that we are getting close to the end of this current impulse. So I'm just going to kind of put it that way. I've got some collateral that I'd like to show you guys. And of course, this is all just for educational purposes. Okay, let's go ahead and move into the chart. So what I've got here, and let me just remove my watch list for a moment. I've got here what I believe is the completion of a pretty big impulse. I think we're working on maybe we're still working on wave 4 here, but there's a couple things I'm looking for, a couple things I'm watching for, and this is going to be really important to pay attention to because in our trading room we take trades almost every day of the week. And we're not talking about taking trades and keeping them for a couple hours. We're talking about keeping trades for a couple weeks. So now that we're kind of at this phase in the market, I have to err on the side of caution because yesterday in particular was a huge day. Very indicative of a wave 3. Okay, and we've been watching this. And so what I've got from down here at the bottom, I've got a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a little ABC correction. So 1, 2. And then from there, we've got a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3. And this works out really well because if we measure this first wave and we do the pullback, we've got a couple targets to pay attention to. We have the 618, the 100, and the 123.6. These 3 targets are important for corrections. If it goes beyond the 123.6, it's going to almost guaranteed this is going to go to the 1618 to the 175. If you haven't seen my Algo City video, you need to go back and watch it. I'm still pretty proud of that video that I did way back, July last year, I think it was. It was a while. You can search BitDoctor Algo City in YouTube. You could probably find it there. But anyway, we came up to this 1618, which is a high probability target for wave 3. All right, we got there. Now we do the pullback. We did the pullback. We'll talk about that in a second. But now we're looking for the 2618, which is right up here at about 390 or 3900 if you're talking about the ES. What did we do? We got the 1, 2, 3. We had a nice A, B, C. A nice simple correction here. And wave 4 usually takes a little while. Compared to wave 2, wave 4 usually lasts longer. Now this lasted, quite some time. But I would kind of expect that because I think we're getting to the end of a trend. But now, since we got to the bottom of wave 4, okay, we know we're searching up here for this 2618. I'm just going to kind of remove some of these things because we're really just paying attention to the 1618 and the 2618. We're paying attention to those guys. 1618, 2618, and let's go ahead and extend lines to the right. Move the labels to the top. There. Make it easy to see. It's going to extend all the way over there to the right because that's what we're going to be looking for the completion of this. Now, what do we have from here? At the bottom of wave 4, all right, I need to get rid of this guy. It's bugging me. Okay, from the bottom of wave 4, we have a nice 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the 3. We extended beyond the 1, 2, 3, 6, which tells me this is a wave 3. And with the impulsiveness and the velocity of this move, this is looking very much so like a wave 3. Then we do a pullback. Where are we going to go to this pullback? Let's just take this. I'm measuring what I believe is currently the wave 3. From the bottom to the top, We could go as deep as 38.26. We could go all the way down to 382, 383 on SPY. It's very possible that we go there today or tomorrow. I am probably not going to be buying anything today. I will probably look to be buying things tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. People are, I mean, reasonably so. People are taking profit. After a day like yesterday, it would make sense that they would take profit. Pull back down here to the 382 at 38.26, and I will be a buyer. You better believe I will be a buyer down here. We'll see how it happens. But I'm going to talk about something else here in a moment. But one way or another, we get this wave 4 down here to the 382, assuming that the top is there. We didn't quite make it to the 1618, but it went way beyond the 1236, which still makes me believe this is a wave 3 that we are currently in. I'm sorry, wave 3 that we just completed. This was overnight. I believe we completed that wave 3. We go down for wave 4. Is wave 4 here or is it down here? I would prefer for it to be down here. Then we go up for that target, which is wave 5, which is going to complete this wave 5. Okay? We're still looking for 390. This 2618 is sitting here at mid like 391. We have other targets up here, which we didn't quite make it to the 1618 here, which leads me to believe we're not going to make it to the 2618, which is at 392. It would make a lot of sense for us to stall out at about 390 to 391. That is where I'm very interested in things finishing. All right, that's what I think is happening. And if we take a look at the daily, and really actually this is the 12-hour because ES1 really does trade almost 24 hours. It doesn't trade exactly 24 hours, but almost. This 12-hour is getting very, very high, okay? And I would expect there to be some kind of bearish divergence that will be created more than likely. Yeah, are we going to get one last push up? I do believe we will. Where is my level of invalidation going to be? I mean, I suppose down here at the 382, but I'm not taking trades right now. So really, I'm not managing risk on a trade that I'm entering here, right? I do have some trades that I announced in our trading room earlier today, but those are special plays. And I think the risk is pretty well defined on them. But as far as stocks that are trading on the S&P 500, I would wait to see what happens down here at this 382 because this is really where we're watching. We had a good pivot down here, and I believe that we are probably going to do maybe even an extended fifth. Depends on how things are going, but I do believe we are going to get a last move up. We almost got to our target for a wave 3 at the 1618. So I believe we're going to get not a truncated fifth, but I don't think this fifth is going to be strong enough to get all the way to 392. We'll have to wait and see on that. But here is something that I want to point out. This is this warning signal that I'm talking about. All right, so what I want to point out here is on February 11th of 2020. All right, February 11th of 2020, markets were trending up. Things were looking good. We had a pullback. Markets were trending up. And if we're taking a look at February 11th, right? February 11th, which is right here. Market there. Let's do this. February 11th, market there. February 11th, market there. And February 11th, market there. All right, so I'm looking at the S&P 500 E-mini futures, NASDAQ E-mini futures, and Russell 2000 futures. And I'm comparing it to the volatility index, the CBOE volatility index, VIX. What did we see on February 11th that we typically don't see? And I was talking about this on the Discord server several weeks ago, and one of our members brought it up to me. He's like, hey, you were talking about watching this, and it looks like we might be getting that right now. Let's talk about what happened. The volatility index on February 11th was green for that day. The S&P 500 was green for that day. NASDAQ was flat. It was down 25 cents. The Russell futures were green for that day. 0.56% Russell was up. 0.13% S&P 500 was up. And NASDAQ, again, was flat. but VIX was increasing. Now VIX is kind of like a foreshadowing on what people believe volatility is going to be over the next 30 days. Well, what ended up happening? Well, the price did end up going up ever so slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, a little over a week. And what ended up happening? On that 6th day, we had a big increase in volatility and the drop started. Now, I don't believe for a moment that we're going to have a black swan event like we did in February and March of 2020. What I'm searching for is the end of this current trend to enter a more a corrective phase, a more corrective phase in the market over the next 30 days. Okay, so what do we have today? Let me just go ahead and fast forward to today. Volatility index is increasing. The S&P 500 is flat. NASDAQ is green. Russell is red. Okay, I don't care about Russell as much as I care about the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. If the S&P 500 ends green while the VIX is green, what I would expect is for the next week to be a slow and steady slope up. But then what happens from there is going to be very, very telling on how if we are going to see a more serious correction. And again, I'm not talking about, right? So what I'm not talking about, looking here on the daily, I'm not talking about anything that looks like this. This won't happen again for a long, long time, you guys, okay? Probably won't happen for another 10 years, all right? So let's just put that in check. But what I do think that I can put together here is a nice count for here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could totally see this happening. What happens when you have a completed 5-wave impulse? This, as long as it stays strong, and right now it still looks somewhat okay. Give it another week. If we do make our way up here to 390, coming down to 340 seems very, very possible. Okay, and again, I'm not talking about this actually happening, but if we make our way up here, and maybe this is going to take a while, A, B, C, that could go for a month. How long did this correction take? This started on Labor Day, September 2nd, long correction, lasted until October 30th, 2 months of crazy corrections, okay? There is money to be made in a correction, but if this does happen where this starts in February and ends at the end of March, well, here we go. Now we're talking about something like this potentially happening. If we do make our way to 390 to 391, we do see that correction. That's a good 13%. That's a good 13%. I will continue to let all of our members know in our Discord what my plans are for my account. And again, what my plans are for me could be very different for what your risk tolerance is. But more than likely, I'm going to be scaling out of positions over the next couple weeks. And I will be waiting to see what happens in February. If we see continued movement to the upside, just like we saw here, right? We saw a little bit of a pullback and then a big move up, right? On September 2nd of 2020, started a really significant pullback. And typically, these moves happen so quickly, you don't really have a whole lot of time to react, okay? And I remember when this happened, people were still in buy the dip mode. And I did as well. I tried a couple times buying the dip and it failed. So what's the end game here? Well, the end game is for this guy to finish its move up and to do its pullback to the 236, which just so happens to be the top of 2020. Assuming it makes its way to 390 to 391, that 236 is going to be sitting right there. right at the high of 2020, but right before the crash. And again, I'm not saying we're having a crash. This is not a crash. This is just a correction, you guys. Okay. Um, and so this is what I am. This is what I'm watching. This is what I am kind of worried about. And again, if I move this guy up here, that 382 is down here pretty low as well. So we're going to be watching. We're going to be watching this, and more than likely, I'm going to be advising some of the people in the trade room that at some point we're going to be taking short positions. We're not going to be taking long positions. And we're going to be waiting out the correction, preserving our capital, assuming that we do see that final move. And again, it could happen. Right now, the S&P 500 is just currently kind of flat. NASDAQ is pretty green. NASDAQ is up 0.56%. Tech stocks have been doing pretty good. VIX is green. This is giving me cause for a little concern. And so this is what I am, this is what I'm watching. This is what I'm watching. I'm watching for green across the three: S&P, NASDAQ, VIX. Russell, again, I'm watching it, but I'm not giving it as much weight as I am for the S&P and for NASDAQ. All right, guys, that's it for right now. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, of course, I'd love for you to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, good evening. If you need access to our Discord,